This is lesson 15, methods for selecting a random sample. For this lesson, you're going to need the website hedges.name / sorry, let me redo that. Make sure you got the right one. Sorry, guys. It's https:// there we go. Andrew hedges.name / experiment. Sorry, guys, ran out of lead. Let me do this real quick, guys. Lost my eraser. Found my eraser. Dusty stuff back there. All right. All right. Sorry, guys. Experiment and an S at the end of that. Random and / so that's what you're going to need. Okay. All right, now we can continue. Sorry about that, gang. All right, so in this lesson, you will obtain random numbers to select a random sample. You will also design a plan for selecting a random sample to answer a statistical question about a population. What is the longest book that you have ever read? The Hobbit has 95,022 words. The Cat in the Hat has 830 words. Popular books vary in the number of words they have, not just the number of different words, but the total number of words. The table below shows the total number of words in some of those books. The histogram displays the total number of words in 150 best-selling children's books with fewer than 100,000 words. Okay? So now, here's the histogram that we're looking at. Okay? And what a histogram is a bar graph that goes by intervals from 0 to 5,000, 5,000 to 10,000, 10 to 15, and so on. Okay? Just from the table, choose 2 books with which you are familiar and describe their locations and the data distribution shown in the histogram. Okay? The first book I'm going to pick is Green Eggs and Ham. And with green eggs and ham, that has 702 words. And its location is between 0 and 5,000 words. Okay. The next one I'm going to pick is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That has 30,644 words. And its location is between 30,000 to 35,000. On the histogram. So it would be between here and here. And for green eggs and ham would be between here and here. Okay. So now it says, put dots on the number line below that you think would represent a random sample of size 10 from the number of words distribution above. So if you notice, this has a very high concentration of numbers right in here. This has a tremendous amount of numbers in here. And this has a few of them in here. So that's where I would want to pick my dots from. Okay. So I would probably pick one about, if I'm going to put these, I'm going to split this up in half here to put my 10,000s in. So I know that here's about 5,000. So I would say I would probably put at least one about the 5,000 area, in between the 5,000 area. I would also put one probably between 5,000 and 10,000. I would also put one probably between 5,000, 35,000 and 40,000. So then I would also then start putting them in between probably a good portion between 80 and 95,000. So I would say probably in here. And I would probably put one between 65 and 80. So I would probably put one maybe in here. And that's what I would put. And it says, how do you think? So it says, how do you think the sample distribution would look if you were allowed to pick your 10 favorite books? Would this be biased? The answer is yes. You picked them. Okay. So next, says the histogram indicates the differences in the number of words in the collection of 150 books. How many words are typical for the best-selling children's books? Answering this question would involve collecting data, and there would be variability in those data. In other words, there would be a spread. This makes the question a statistical question. Think about the 150 books used to create the histogram on the previous page as a population. How would you go about collecting data to determine the typical number of words for the books in this population? Well, you could take the average. How would you choose a random sample from the collection of 150 books discussed in this lesson? Well, I could number the books. From 1 to 150. Place them in a hat. And draw. The data for the number of words in the 150 best-selling children's books are listed below. Select a random sample of the number of words for 10 books. We're going to do that with a number generator. It says follow your teacher's instructions to generate a set of 10 random numbers. Place the information on the dot plot. Find the total number of words corresponding to each book identified by your random numbers. Then choose 2 more different random samples of size 20 and 30 from the data and make a dot plot of each of the 3 samples. Well, I already did that, so I'm going to show you that information now. So using that website, and again, here is that website. My first set of 10 numbers, okay, were these. Okay. So I went back and I looked and I put those 10 numbers here. Then I went back and did a random set of 20. Here are my random set of 20. And then here was my random set of 30. Okay. So it says, if you were to compare your sample to your classmate's sample, do you think your samples would be similar? Why or why not? Okay. Well, they should be similar. Because they came from the same population. They came from the same population. And if you notice, the more that you do, it's starting to look like the histogram, isn't it? Okay. The more is going down here between that 20, 0 and that 20,000, like that histogram, and more are becoming between that 80 and 90,000. Okay. And a little bit in the middle there. Okay. Do you notice that? Then number 6 says, what would happen if we increased our sample size? More would go. Sorry, that's not what I want to say. It would look even more like the population. How do the different samples compare after the addition of 10 more books? Each start to look more like the population. Okay. And that's our lesson.